بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I welcome all of you wherever you are. I welcome you again with the second lecture of the Fatwa, the second part of the 20th day of Saturday, the 20th day of Ramadan. May Allah repeat it again with goodness and harmony. The first question tonight. A friend, somebody is called me and he asked me on the phone, and then he had questioned me about this again. To If you call somebody a kafir, even uh, is it really get you out of Islam by mistake? Like you tell him, "Are you you're a kafir?" You accuse him of being a kafir, a disbeliever. That's one way to understand this question. The second one, you mean if the action of one of the people of disbelief, if you do it by mistake, will that be getting you to be out of Islam or not? First of all, you should never ever call anyone a disbeliever unless you are certain of what you are saying. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, whomever told to his brother, you disbeliever, one of them is a disbeliever. This is something of the group that's called Al Khawarij who did it through over the history. They will kill the scholars of Islam and Muslims over any doubtful thing that they come up with. They make everybody who sins as a kafir, a disbeliever. And they missed the ayat of Allah Azza wa Jal on the disbeliever, and they used it on the believers. Like whenever it says, when Allah says, whomever disobey Allah Azza wa Jal, he will be in the hellfire eternally. Well, here it's not the same. Allah is talking about the biggest sin, which is disbelief in Him. And Allah said, Adam has disobeyed Allah. Is the mistake of Adam the same thing like Pharaoh or Iblis? No. And the companions never was repentant. They were all in Islam. Allah Azza wa Jal said that He had beautified the Islam to you and beautified it in your heart, and He hated to you the disbelief and disobedience. And Allah put three different categories: disbelief, disobedience, and sins. So you cannot. It's worse to make a mistake of a Muslim to call him a disbeliever. It's better to claim 100 disbeliever as Muslims. It's easier than to claim one Muslim as disbeliever. Always try to find an excuse for you, brother. When the Imam make a mistake with the forgiveness, it's better than in the punishment. So never rush into that part of accusing people as disbelievers. That's the act of the Khawarij, the ignorant people in Islam, the ignorant people about how to apply Islam. And there is abundance of evidence from the Book of Allah and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ said there's a group of people that they pray too much and they fast and they do too many things. When you look at their actions, you belittle your stuff. But they are the worst because this whole action they do does not go into their heart, never goes to their soul. They don't even understand what they're doing. They only get out of Islam just like the arrow that goes through the body and gets like one drop of blood. And Allah Azza wa Jal told us through the Prophet ﷺ about the person who made a mistake. You know the mistake of that man who had all his belongings and his camel, and he tied it and he went to sleep, and he He lost it. It has his water, his food, and he could not catch up. He kept looking everywhere he can find his camel. And for him, it is the whole reason of life. It has the food, the water, and also the transportation. So what does he do? So He went to uh, he found like a small hole in the ground. So he just went there to wait for death. When he passed out, he woke up and he saw his camel with all the water and the camel, and he was so excited. And he said, "Oh Allah." Instead of saying, "You are my Lord, I am your servant," he said, "I am your Lord and you're my servant." He said it out of excitement, out of a mistake. And this is something that the Prophet ﷺ told us he's not a kafir, he was a believer. Allah don't consider him a disbeliever, and he made a mistake. And in the end of Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah said, in behalf of the believers, "Oh Allah, do not burden us if we made a mistake, or if we sinned, or if we forgot." And in the hadith, Allah said, "Yes, I will." And then the other one said in the recitation of the and he was reciting the an ayah, and he while he was reading, as if he was inspired by the shaitan to add or do something to one of the words that made it sound funny, or and he started laughing. He is afraid that he have committed a major sin. First of all, the honoring of Allah Azza wa Jal, it's very important. The hypocrites, they said about the reciters of the Quran in one of the battles, "We haven't seen anybody like our reciters, more lying, more hungry, and the most coward when we fight the enemy." Then they realized what they were doing, that they're mocking the companions of the Prophet ﷺ. They said, let's go and apologize to Prophet ﷺ before an ayah comes in. And then when they got to him, they found the Quran beat them. Allah said, the hypocrites are worried that Allah Azza wa Jal exposed what's in their heart. And after Allah exposed it, they are afraid. They said, "Oh, we're just making fun, trying to entertain ourselves, killing time." And Allah did not accept that. He said, "You have disbelieved after you have embraced Islam, after you believed." They said, "Oh, Prophet of Allah, we were just traveling and we were trying to entertain ourselves." And he kept saying, "Do not apologize. You have disbelieved after your faith." And he kept repeating it. So honoring and glorifying Allah's side is from the piety, from the God consciousness, from the healthy signs of the heart. And from the media's trying to put jokes on Allah's boundaries, on the prophets of Allah, the righteous people of the Muslims, and how many things they have done during especially the social part of Egypt, where they just mocked everything. They have no holiness in any of the things that we honor, because if we honor Allah Azza wa Jal, if we go back in memory, we'll find the person who used to do character in the end of the newspaper, and he brought a rooster with 9 chickens, 9 hens, and he said, "Muhammad Effendi, the husband of 9." It's one of those things that he's not aware of, the heavy part of it. He's mocking Allah and His Messenger and make fun of the Prophet ﷺ, to make fun of the Prophet ﷺ, so they will joke and laugh at it. He will be doomed from a day that is very great. Allah said, let them hear and let them see before they come to us. But today the transgressors, the criminals, they are in very, very clear strain. Take the holiness of anything is very important for the secular movement. So glorify Allah's messengers, prophets, Allah's book, whatever Allah had glorified. Do not make the virtues, the symbols of Islam, of things that are being mocked. Do not apologize, you have committed disbelief. So anything that happened on the tongue and with no intention, Allah said there is no burden on what you have done, but what you intended. And it was authenticated that Allah Azza wa Jalla said, I have done. So we come in the few minutes left of the hadith about this fatwa, about i'tikaf. The 10 days started today. The i'tikaf started before Maghrib. I do not leave except the sunset of the last day of Ramadan. If you want to continue the whole 10, it's fine. And those who can't, the Prophet ﷺ said, if I order you to do something, do the best out of it. There is partial i'tikaf. You could participate a whole day, half an hour, a day. Those who have work, who cannot make i'tikaf completely, let him make i'tikaf as much as he can, whatever he is available. A few days, part of the day, is fine. Never stop of any goodness. The i'tikaf is something that it came in because Allah said, we have inspired Ibrahim Ismail to purify my house to those who are going tawaf and staying in the masjid and those who prostrate. And Allah Azza wa Jal has authorized it to this ummah. Count your action before it's counted on you. Every day that passes, the age is destroyed. Somebody, one of the scholars asked one of the people, he said, how old? He said, 60 years. He said, 60 years you're walking toward Allah Azza wa Jal, you're almost there. He said, what do I do? He said, you take care of whatever is left, Allah will forgive you for what happened. So what we know, whomever reached the 40, not 60, his matter should be centralized on this ayah. And oh Allah, correct in my offspring. Oh Allah, allow me to show gratitude to your bounty that you have done to me and my parents, and let me follow the righteous that you'll be happy with. and help me with my offspring. I have repented to you and among the Muslims.
أولم نعمركم ما يتذكر فيه من تذكر وجاءكم النذير شيئا فذوقوا فما للظالمين من نصير. نعم غير
So,
توجه أنت جهزت غازيا كفى الشيخ والإسلام للمرء ناهية. كفى الشيخ والإسلام
it is enough for the person to remember his gray hair.
في كل المساجد
And the i'tikaf, it in all the masajid,
بحديث
not only the three famous ones.
قال وصححه
There is a hadith that a lot of people has authenticated. It's about what you interpreted.
الاعتكاف يبدأ في المساجد
There's no i'tikaf except those 3 days.
لكن الاعتكاف يصح في المساجد كلها ولا تباشروهن وأنتم عاكفون في المساجد. تعبير عام
This is a general term that,
المشارق والمغارب وفي المسجد جميعا
but the masjid should be a masjid of congregation.
حتى لا يحرم من ثواب الجماعة.
So he will not be taken out of
المسجد هذه لا يصلح أن يعتكف فيه.
that. He should not make i'tikaf in his household.
مساجد جامعة
It has to be in the mosque that are exposed. He enter, he don't need to take permission. That's the place. It is all set up for Allah Azza wa Jal. And he takes something from the ownership of the servant to the ownership of Allah, the Almighty. Alayhi salatu wassalam.
يبقى كلمة الاعتكاف
So there's no i'tikaf except in those 3 houses of Allah, meaning the complete one. But it is done in all the masajid, and the Imam al-Bukhari, he used the general of Allah saying, and do not touch them while you're still in the masjid. And this is in the last night of the Quran, of Ramadan. The person who make i'tikaf, he does not go except what he have to, like going to the bathroom, and to watch, and to drink or eat. The visitation of the ill people, this will not happen except with a condition. Those who are with the disease, they can make i'tikaf. Oh Allah, I will stay from so and so. If they need me, I could go earlier.
وإذا مات مريضه
So if
فلا اعتكاف منه
his i'tikaf will not be void if his person died.
فأشترط بنفسي أنني أخرج بعيادة مريضي أما الخروج للبيع والشراء
But to go to sell, buy and work, no. سبحانك وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.